to be discovered in the tales of D'aowVern.
Hello, and welcome, strangers and friends, back to the Strangers Guild live stream. I am Caleb the Bard, the Dungeon Master for our 4 awesome players over here. As you can see, we have a new setup. Look at this, so cool. Thank you, Icarus, and by extension, who is art by Alderdoodle and Derek D&D. Cool. But before we get started, I guess we'll go left to right and just reintroduce everybody, starting with our Lady M.
Oh my gosh. Hi guys, my name is Betty. I'm who.the.lovely on TikTok and Instagram, and I play Lydia.
All right, so Nortia.
Hi, howdy. My name is Sabrina Ortiz, and I play Nortia Thornwood, a lovely little wizard. And you can find me on all socials with BBEG Brina.
And Yarrow.
Hi, I'm Freckle. I play Yarrow, our sorcerer, and you can find me at Freckleworks or Freckled Aquarius on all social media platforms.
Nice. And Dianthus.
Hello, my name is Icarus, and I'm playing our cleric. And you can find me pretty much everywhere at IICARYS or II_CARYS.
So, it's been a while since we've all been together as a group, but for some of you, you might remember or you might recognize each of our players had a solo session last week to get us kind of back into the setting of D'aowVern and to just give each of the players a chance to, get back into the headspace. That being said, I know it's been a while, but do we want to do a little recap of specifically last week? We can kind of go down, and this will be like the player recapping. We are going to do a little of this in character in the session. But if you want to just do like a sentence or two recap of what happened during your session to start, we'll do it the same way. Betty, Sabrina, Freckle, Icarus. And, as much or as little as you want to tell the audience about where we were in the last couple of days.
Nowhere good. Nowhere good. For M, it was terrifying and very much a literal out-of-body experience. The people around her had trouble remembering what was going on, and there were people who were fighting people that we didn't know, villains we were used to, and something happened, and then all of a sudden it was very clear that one person is screwing with the collective, all of us. M had a little bit of a panic moment because she saw something in the seeing pool in her garden, and that scared the shite out of her. And so as of this point, M is kind of in the throes of emotional turmoil on the beach behind her shop.
Cool. All right, Sabrina.
Nortia, what a fun time Nortia had. I forgot so many people, but remembered Lady M, so that's exciting. Ran into her best friend Atlas. Had a little emotional turmoil with that. Saw some weird figures on top of his new workplace, apparently. What's up with that? I don't want to know, but yeah, I do. And found her friend being chased by guards. She knocked out those guards and knocked out Gunner's heart once again. So that's what happened with our girlie.
Once again.
Good for her.
All right, Yarrow.
Yeah, Yarrow started off having an interesting day and got some fun little magical items and saw some things in the sky. Very strange. Had some weird dreams and whatnot, and then realized some people forgot things. He didn't forget, so that's cool. Or didn't forget anyone really important until going to the church and realizing he didn't know who he was looking for, aka his brother, and then proceeded to stab someone and they turned to dust while simultaneously having a vision about Dianthus's past. And now Yarrow is on the run and potentially drowning at the moment. We don't know where he is. The current took them. They're gone.
Dianthus.
Yeah. Where do I start? So I forgot all three of you at one point. That's important. I remembered Cal and like only Cal, so I went to him like, "Can you help me out, King?" And he did. He did. We helped figure that all out, and I do believe I remember all of you now. But I believe now we are on our way to Yarrow's tower because I think they were smart and stayed there.
Fantastic. I know it's been a hot second. Yarrow, can you give me a Constitution save?
I'd love to give you a constitution.
The bad dude.
I hate it.
Who always says first 2 seconds? Who wants to die?
I'm turning my camera off and ruining all your hard work.
That is an 11.
Oh!
Fantastic. You know, and I would like to tell you what happens, but on an 11, we are actually going to transition to Nortia.
Halo.
Nortia, if you remember the end of your session, you were headed to the shop and you heard trees. You heard something breaking through. And just as the forest separated, we ended your last session. That being said, Dianthus, can you explain what your character would look like? Keep in mind, you're explaining this as someone seeing you as if they are seeing your character for the first time.
Oh, God. Scary. Very scary. They're not a tall person. I believe they're only 5'6", but decked out in black, really tough looking armor. They have a sword sheathed at their side, and they have this really odd looking visor thing on. It's covering up their eyes, and I mean, he comes kind of crashing through, clearly on a mission. Definitely is giving the vibe of someone who doesn't want to be bothered or fucked with.
How close am I to the opening of like the trees?
I would say about 15, 20 feet.
Okay. Nortia is going to like turn her attention, but like back up from this like scary person.
Okay. Dianthus, I'm just going to preface this with, you do remember Nortia, by the way. Dianthus, you do. But yes, Nortia, you can continue with what you were saying.
Do I feel any sense of familiarity? Because I know that Nortia remembers somebody who's kind of scary, but like good at heart, you know?
Uh-huh.
Do I feel that energy, that vibe?
Am I good at heart, Taylor?
You know, for this, I'm gonna have not in a combat situation necessarily, but just to establish what is happening in real time, I'm gonna have the people there roll initiative. So it would be Dianthus, Nortia, and I believe Gunnar and Cal are there, correct?
Yeah.
And Atlas and Atlas's little buddy.
Gotcha. I will say, yeah. Okay, cool.
Initiative is +1, 17.
18 plus 1, 19.
19. Okay, so let me see. 19.
Stop me.
What was yours, Nortia?
17.
Okay. So I'm gonna
My heart
say,
is racing right now.
Dianthus, it is your turn. Again, this isn't necessarily a combat. It could be, if it needs to be, but it is your turn in the initiative, Dianthus. And Nortia, you are on deck.
Okay.
I mean, I see her, yeah?
Uh-huh.
He's gonna probably immediately stop in his tracks. And in the back of his mind, he's aware I just had memory fuck shit. It's entirely possible you did too. So he's going to stop. And if you recall, Caleb, he made a very specific deal with Cal that when they go and meet up with the others, he's not gonna speak until they figure out whether or not they remember Dianthus. Because Dianthus is aware of the effect he has on people. So
Sure.
he's not gonna say anything. He is going to stop, look her dead in the eye, you think, Nortia, and be silent.
Nortia, how do you respond?
Nordia's had a lot of stuff going on. But over anything else, no matter what's going on, Nortia believes that people are more than just what they appear to be. And so while she had backed up when they came through the woods so abruptly, she sees the eye contact that this stranger is making with her, and she begins to step forward, maintaining eye contact with them.
Okay.
Saying nothing.
Okay. Sabrina, if you could give me a charisma saving throw.
This
is the same effect from y'all's solo session.
Can I just put my hand on my blade?
Sure.
Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're gonna do. 5!
Every time I've tried to remember you or Yarrow, I've gotten a 5.
That's funny as hell, actually. That's funny as hell. I hope that remains.
On a 5, as you step forward, the other 4 people in this space were after you in the initiative. And you remember that you were with Gunnar, as well as Atlas and Sue. You also see stepping, not quite from the same direction, but from the forest as well. You see Cal step out.
Do I remember Cal?
No. So what you see is a half-elf with gaunt eyes and this brooding figure with like dark armor. As they stand in the space, you see streams of black powder coming from the eyes and mouth of each of the other 4 people in this space, as Dianthus seems to swallow the light and the air and the moisture of everything around him.
Do you need help?
Do I need help? Do I seem the type to need help? Nortia, why are you out here?
You know my name.
Oh, great. Cal, you handle this.
It's only fair if I know yours.
You do.
Nortia's gonna try really hard to remember anything, but with a 5, I don't think my bestie does. I think she closes her eyes really tight. I think she tries to dig into her soul for some memory that connects her to this person, and she opens them and there's nothing there. And she looks and she says, I've seen you've forgotten another friend, and I am sorry. I do not know your name.
Nortia, as you say this, and this goes to our conversation last night, with your passives the way that they are, you notice the space is not where you are. The forest around you, the trees are gray and dying, and there's no beach in the distance, there's no city behind you. You get the feeling that if not for your Kalishtar roots, you would be kind of overwhelmed by the fact that you're kind of dreaming in this instant. Someone is trying to maybe put you to sleep, but also maybe just present something to you that is so crazy and extreme that it makes you deny what's around you. So as you say this to Dianthus, you look around, and Atlas, Sue and Cal are extremely gaunt, their skin sunken. They seem to kind of age in front of you. The only one who is unaffected, besides yourself, is Gunnar. However, you do see the figure in front of you in all black start to pull out a blade, and the light from the trees as it hits it actually bends, and so the blade itself seems to take up more material space than the actual mineral itself, if that makes sense. You look at it and the light bends around it.
So it would be Dianthus, would be the person pulling out the blade. Nortia stands in front of Gunnar and does not try to protect herself in any way. She opens herself, does not collapse, and says, "If you wish to strike me, do so. But something tells me that you do not."
We do not have time for this. Dianthus, you already know my name. I'm not going to strike you down if you don't attack us.
Nortia, you hear everything Dianthus is saying except for their name. Whenever you say Dianthus, the language gets muddled and kind of censored, but almost as if shrieks of what you would imagine like souls to be kind of overwhelms their voice. But you do hear everything else.
Does it feel like I'm somewhere in between dream and reality right now?
Mm-hmm.
Can I, even though as a Kalistar, I usually can't be put under the dream spell, give into it and let myself go fully into dream?
Ooh.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh.
I'll say for this, give me an Arcana check.
Love to. 18 plus 5, 23.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Nortia, as you kind of surrender yourself to what's happening in this moment, you, like you said, you physically open yourself up to Dianthus, just kind of not trying to intimidate. There's a moment where everything flickers back and forth. Like, in a moment you see Dianthus as they are, with the sun and the trees and the beach, and it's flickering. And for the next few seconds, I'll say that the two visuals are shaking, meaning kind of like a flip book where it's just two images over and over again. That is how you're perceiving the space around you. And I'll say on a 23, you allow yourself to fall under it, but in doing so, you actually are able to step out of it. And I'll say you and Gunnar have probably a moment to discuss what's going on, like outside of the effect of the magic.
Nortia turns to Gunnar and she says, "Someone has been trying to take me somewhere. All day. I have to go. But Gunnar, I have a feeling that they underestimate me. And I would like to completely go into dream state if it's possible."
Okay.
Girly pop.
Okay.
Alone. Oh, girly pop.
I will say, Dianthus, in this moment, you, like, Nortia is experiencing what they just described. But as you're looking at them, they seem to kind of apparate a little bit. Like, there are moments where they're not in front of you, and like, Dianthus, you've kind of broken the effect of this effect, this charm.
Correct.
But you see, as Nortia and Gunnar are speaking to each other, like, they seem to flicker in and out. And Nortia, as you dive into it, as you kind of let yourself go under, you hear, No. And standing behind Gunnar is the familiar man with the beard, the dark purple robes, the dark eyes, and I will say, with a combination of, because I was not expecting the direction you took with it, but I like it. So what I'm going to say is, in this moment, you're going to get a surprise action against
Ooh.
the wizard in this moment.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm so
Kill.
excited!
Kill.
Betty,
dude.
you're muted, by the way.
I know, I was loud and loud.
There you go.
Oh,
I hope
okay.
you kill him in one shot. I hope you get a natural 20, you crit.
Okay. I look him dead in the eyes, and I go, I'm stronger here. And I want to cast Fear, which I have at 3rd level from my animal influence ring.
Yeah.
And I would like to cast Fear on him. It's not that big of a wisdom save, it's only
Sure.
a 13.
Okay.
But
And
wait, before you do that, can I do my divination rules really quick? I forgot to do them. Okay,
sure.
I got an 8 and a 10, so can I give him the 8?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah!
If you could, for me, I'm gonna look at the fear effect real quick, just so I know. You know,
Breathe,
sometimes it's been a hot sec. You know, we're back. We are back.
We
Oh,
are
boy.
back. Oh my god, we are back.
It has to try and get as far away from me
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah. I want to say, so yes, obviously with an 8 he fails. Nortia, as you stand there, the fear effect, it's a cone normally, but I will say, because the only 3 people in that space were you, Gunnar, and the wizard.
Mhm.
And Gunnar succeeded in the save, and you see, you know, the growl, that the expression of frustration from the wizard, and you see for a second, then this is like right before you had cast the spell, his hand had turned into a kind of like a plasmoid claw, and he had been reaching towards Gunnar. But as you cast your spell and your magic kind of springs from you, and even the trees that I explained to be gray and dead appearing, they seem to kind of like giving water to a plant that hasn't had it in a long time. They kind of like spruce up, and they grab the man and they pull him out of the space, and you watch as his robe is torn and there's streaks of marks across his face, and he's like, "You won't get away with this." And he's torn, and you are standing there, and in his place, you get the sense that if what you had tried hadn't worked, similar to Yarrow's interaction with Emerus, you feel as if your actions would have been taken against Dianthus, because Dianthus is standing where the wizard was. And in this moment, I will say, by, you know, casting fear, and not pure banishment, as in like not the spell effect, but by banishing the wizard from this place, you've broken the charm. And so you do remember Dianthus and Cal, and you are standing in the actual space around you.
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
When she watches this all happen, and this like glitchiness like fades away, she turns and she looks at Dianthus, and she falls to her knees, and she goes, "Dianthus, my friend."
Friend's a very strong word.
You get
remember
used
now.
to it.
Oh, will I? Are you alright now?
I'm okay.
Good. I'm not sure what's going on, but the others might be experiencing what we just went through. I was going to go find Yarrow.
Let's find Yarrow.
All right. And I am going to continue again to the tower because I don't know. You went to my house when I wasn't home, so I don't know to go back to the church, Yarrow.
We're right by Lady M's though,
I
right?
am going to point out
Yeah.
in this space, right? Like Dianthus, you're like, all right, I'm going to the tower. Nortia, you've broken this effect, and so you're realizing everything that's in this space. The other four people are like weapons fully drawn, like what the hell's going on? Because they just saw like a bunch of weird magic shit, and like that happened in a very short amount of time, like probably about 30 seconds a minute type deal. So it was very much like everyone's just like, what the heck is going on? But if you zoom out a little bit from that space, y'all are probably like 30 feet from M's shop. Like the trees, like y'all did this, like, and M is, and I will say this isn't like a big plot thing, but like she is in there. But yeah, no,
Nortia
this
was
all
heading
happened
that
like
way, right?
right outside.
Yeah,
So
Nortia
was heading that way.
I think like when she like was overwhelmed with like, yeah, I know who Yarrow is. Yeah, let's go find him. And then she kind of like looks at Lady M's and then back at Dianthus, and she's like, should we get Lady M first?
Oh. Can you roll me a persuasion check?
Yeah, I'd love to, babes. I'd love to give you a persuasion check. But let me look at I'm so bad at finding things on my character sheet. It's insane. Okay. 10. Right here,
Quickly.
Dianthus.
Very
Okay.
quickly.
And Nortia like dashes into Lady M's shop.
I'm not running, but I.
So a
Okay.
very reprehensive Dianthus follows you. As that happens, we're going to transition for a second to Lady M. While I do that, though, Nortia, can you roll me a d20 with your spellcasting modifier?
Oh, good God.
Yeah?
What do you have planned? What do you have planned?
Just for fun.
30-20?
Fuck you, dude.
So
Come
good.
on, dude. Fuck you, dude.
So
Get out of
good.
here.
Nortia, I'm going to say just for flavor, right?
Mhm.
Dianthus kind of follows you, and there's a moment, like that moment where they're closest, kind of like passing you to go in, like towards the shop. You get a like 2-3 second glimpse, a feeling of like if you close your eyes, you feel Yarrow asleep, and you feel probably 3 sets of hands pulling you through water.
Oh.
And then y'all are, and at that point you're entering the shop. But before you're in the shop, Lady M, where are you right now?
Well, we left off on the beach, and I was having my moment. You know how it is. I feel like M does like collects herself on the beach, and she like takes her hands out of the sand and puts her gloves back on and just looks at the water for a little bit, and then is like, I have no time. Disaster is striking all around me. I need to get back to my shop because I have things to do and I don't have time to feel the way I'm feeling. So she is going to get up, go back into her shop, kind of dust the sand off of her, and start looking over the inventory that Dee and Artie did to see what Jade took.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
It's not Jade.
So, in this moment, give me an investigation check.
Investigation is 11. No, plus 2 is 13.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Mediocre. Yes.
So on a
Average.
13, last time they realized that while this magic effect was put on all of y'all at the same time, a third party had interceded what was happening. And they had kind of looted your shop a little bit, taking some diamonds, some of your gold inventory, and a bunch of potions. And I'll say on a 13, you get basically the simplest potions that we're taking were some health potions, some things to help with, like, before D'aowVern, you had kind of what would be considered like essential oils, because they didn't have their magic effect, but now they are potions of mana that like help with spellcasting, because you made them with like implements of your Fae background. But now that the magic is here, you realize that they had taken like magic potions to help with magic, various things for animal handling, not full inventory of anything, except for one. There was a batch of perfumes that Dee and Artie were working on. And on a 13, I'm going to say you don't know exactly why she would take those, but with your understanding of magic, you probably realize that a perfume infused with magic could have some sort of charming, very persuasive effect.
Oh.
I will say, Dee and Artie were sent home because they had had a long couple days. And as Lady M, you are coming to this realization, you feel just kind of like a shift around your collar. It's like, is everything all right, Lady M?
Yes, everything's fine. Perry, here, and I'm gonna take a little piece of jerky and give Perry a piece of jerky.
A little flick of his tongue, just kind of a single diamond piece falls from his forehead.
I'll collect them as I always do. And then that reminds me, I keep all the diamonds that Perry gives me.
Mhm.
And I think I have 5 or 6.
Mhm.
Were any of those taken?
The ones that are on your person were not taken. However, there were some that, in Perry's enclosure, because it's not just every time you talk to him. It's kind of just like continual little like shedding thing. But yeah, it's like, I guess they had realized that, they were diamonds and they were important in some way. So everything that was in Perry's little container was taken, but you still have the others.
Do I know maybe how many it was? Probably not.
You probably get the feeling, because you were out of commission for a couple of days, right? Like just dealing with the magic effects, and you were gone training and all that stuff. To do a little simple math, probably a couple hundred gold worth of diamonds. Just because Perry seems like these little pieces, they're small right now, but over 3 or 4 days, they would produce quite a bit of value.
Oh, God, I hate her. I hate her so much. Yeah, I'm just gonna mark that down. Essentially what I'm doing here is I'm making a list of what she owes me, is what I'm doing. An invoice, if you will.
Okay.
So next time I see her, I can charge her for what she owes me. So I will mark everything on our literal inventory sheet for the shop, what we're missing, what was taken, the times, all that stuff. And then on another parchment, I'll write down everything that she took, what it is worth in gold, and go ahead and I'll just keep that with me.
So, Lady M, as you take this inventory, I'll say this is about the moment where you hear the knock at the door.
We're closed.
Too bad, open the door.
I'll rush over to the door. Dianthus. You remember me?
You remember me?
I do. Who? Did I see everyone who's with you?
probably.
Come in. I'll hold the door open for you guys.
In I go, dude.
Go inside. I'm a little shocked by what happened while I was running. So yeah.
I'll close the door behind everybody once they're inside and lock it. Nortia, are you all okay?
Yarrow is not.
What do you mean?
He's in water. Do I recognize, like, I've seen a lot of water here, you know? I saw that waterfall, I know Lady M's little pond, I've seen the beach. Did I recognize that body of water?
I'm going to say no, because that's not quite...
That's not how water works, that's
not,
fair.
That's not quite how that works. It's like, this is... I remember this water.
I remember this tint of green water, you know? I didn't know if they had, like, a little bit of color difference.
I will say...
It's okay.
You don't recognize exactly where it is, but you get the feeling, because in that moment, right, it was, you're experiencing the dreaming mind of Yarrow. You do get the sense that you were underground. Like, if any of y'all have ever been swimming and, like, if it's open water, there's light. Even if it's not particularly bright outside, you can see light coming off the top of the water. You got the feeling that this was like almost like a cave or some sort of, underwater, not a building, but, just a little tunnel or aquifer type deal.
I think Yarrow is underground, underwater. I felt that he was dreaming, though, right?
Yes.
I have an idea.
Go on.
Lady M, do you have anything that would put someone to sleep without us using our energy, without us using a spell slot?
Yo. I do. I don't know if it... What is this accent that I'm doing right now? I don't know if it will work myself, or I don't know
if I went to sleep, I think maybe I can manipulate myself to be where Yarrow is, to at least have someone there with him. I don't know if I could get out of the dream quite as easily, but at least someone would be with Yarrow.
I don't like the idea of two of my friends drowning today, but I also don't know if we have another choice. Do you know where he is? I mean...
I don't know exactly where he is now.
Can you figure it out if you do this?
I think so.
Then do it.
As you wish.
I will go get... potion. Oh boy.
Where about man at, dude?
We're getting there.
Where are you?
I'm under the water.
Under the water.
I'm going for a little swim.
Oh, stop it.
Still not dead.
While Lady M is... Betty, while you're figuring that out, Yarrow.
Yeah.
On your Constitution save, we're not with the rest of the group right now. It's just me and you.
Right.
If you recall, and for those of you who didn't see, Yarrow was attacked by the wardens in Dianthus's chamber, because in Yarrow's certainty that they were free from like the magic effect, they remembered everyone else, and they were like, okay, cool. So the most important person in my life is my brother, and I'm gonna go check on them. But in getting there, realized that they couldn't remember them, and so there was a bit of a grapple. And Yarrow can explain what that looked like back, later. However, part of the effect made it to where Yarrow was pretty quickly on the run, and was kind of inadvertently chased into the underwater lake portion of Dianthus's cave. However, Yarrow, the moment you hit the water, you saw spears and arrows kind of like flying by you. But you felt a very quick undercurrent as you're pulled under. And on an 11, I will say a good, 10, 15 seconds go by and you're able to orient yourself pretty well. You're going through and you're being pulled along this underwater current, and you're avoiding most of the aquatic life and the rocks and everything. But it gets to a point where right before you think the tunnel is going to bring you up to the surface, you hit your head on the top of the cave and you are incapacitated. Over the next few minutes, you feel yourself slipping in and out of consciousness. And at first, it's, okay, I'm drowning, I'm underwater, how am I going to get out of this? But after a couple minutes, you realize, like, even though you are scrounging for air, you're awake and slipping in and out more than you should be. And you realize that you're being pulled, and you look to your left and right, and even though you're hazy and you can't necessarily see underwater, you see these two figures with fish-like faces, gills on their neck, and very aquatically dynamic portions of their head as you are being pulled through. And you look behind you, and pieces of the cavern are falling as you get the idea that magic is being hurled after y'all. It fades after a little bit. Nortia, the visual that you felt and saw was the moment right before Yarrow's making this realization. And Yarrow, you realize that the only time where you can really breathe, or like you regain your consciousness, because at certain points these you know what, give me a history or nature check.
Ooh, okay. History is way better. Okay.
Oh,
That's a net 20!
Yes!
What do you
Oh my god, dude! Yes!
I will send it in the
That's what I'm
Is it
fucking
you,
talking about.
Caleb?
Okay, I'm
And
clipping
you
that.
had you gaslit us into
Here's
thinking
the
there were gonna be no
proof.
mermaids this session.
I didn't say none. I didn't say none.
Mermaid
I didn't say none. However,
time!
Yarrow, on a nat 20. Okay,
24 if you want to be specific
24.
about it.
Okay, you know what? Okay.
This makes up for my 11.
It makes up for your 11. There's moments where so yes, there are some mermaids. Specifically, the people that have their arms on you are Triton folk, essentially fish people. You do feel kind of like around your feet a wrap of seaweed, maybe, and you realize that at first they're just kind of pulling you along, but as they get closer to where they're going, you realize that you have a set of coral-like cuffs around your hands. You look down, and it's a massive, almost a globe-type piece of coral that is around your hands, and seaweed wrapped around your legs. And you, I'll say on a natural 20, Yarrow, the underwater nation of Akatoa is very mysterious to the people of D'aowVern, because in the Reckoning event, when these people were brought to the island, the high courts did try to, not indenture completely, but kind of like take advantage of a different culture, right? However, these people, their technology at the time, and especially now, still like superseded that of the people of D'aowVern. So they were able to defend themselves, and so now they are seen as their own nation state. And a lot of people in D'aowVern either never come back, or if they trade with the Akatoa people, they don't get a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But you're seeing the full city as you're being kind of pulled down. And over the course of a few minutes, you are pulled into this open amphitheater, you realize you look around and, for humans, right, in a materials above ground space, we have a lot of buildings, right? Like buildings, to provide shelter from the elements, that sort of thing. The city that you are seeing, you've only seen crude sketches in some of your history books. And there was an event a couple years ago where someone thought that they could see the city because the night sky was so bright. But no one, to your knowledge, has seen this much. And just before you kind of fade out of consciousness again, you recognize that you're being placed in an underwater amphitheater, and there's a set of runes around you. And as you kind of surrender to the exhaustion of, being pulled underwater, and you get the feeling that this is like miles from the cave, you feel the breath return to your lungs as like this specific piece of the ocean floor you're able to breathe, but you do lose consciousness.
Oh.
So I reward the 20, but you did roll an 11 on the con save. So
Right.
we're going
Valid.
back. We're going to go back to Nortia and the others. What are y'all doing?
I have a question.
Sure, what's up?
So with Nortia's experience in dreams, she's kind of been able to not 100% manipulate. She did pull Donna out of that one. And do I feel like it'd be easier for me to go to sleep and then navigate from my dream, or would it be easier to try and go into somebody else's and and then like transfer us to another area
Interesting.
so that somebody else would also be with me?
Oh, good
You
lord.
know-
I can't dream. Well, I'm out the running.
I think Gunner's the only one that we could put under, isn't
Oh,
he?
Gunner.
You know what? I'll let you try it.
Go on a little
Okay.
underwater
Go for
trip. A little underwater trip with the boyfriend, yeah.
I will say, just to help direct what you're trying to do. You would remember that the garden area did provide an additional sense of rest for you. So I'll say, Lady M, instead of breaking down your whole inventory, you're probably able to find a sleeping aid, like a tea or some type of herb. But up to that point, you were thinking of something that would put Nortia under.
Yeah.
But Gunner is a lot easier to put to sleep.
Yeah.
He's a big boy. He's tired. He's had a long day.
Rest of the
Yeah.
babes.
He's just a little guy. He's just a little
Little
boy.
guy.
He's a little dude.
Just a little
Doing his
guy.
best.
I will kind of like, it's like a little, like a root almost that you would like chew on, kind of like a sugar cane kind of a thing. And I will lead us all through to the garden. I mean, I don't want you guys laying on the ground. So find somewhere to get you guys a little like comfortable, I guess. Julie's.
Nortia takes it and looks at Gunner and goes, "You first."
Gunner is very dutiful, right? Like the way that he responds to things is very, he is a soldier, a commander of sense. He takes a bite. You see, he kind of, everyone's kind of watching him. So he just kind of like, he like sits down, and as he sits, Lady M, you see the garden floor kind of rise, and he's sitting on this very small hill, probably like a 4 or 5 foot tall little hill space. But he kind of like the grass itself seems to buckle under his weight, and he very quickly falls asleep.
Nortia looks at everyone else and then kind of looks at Gunner, and she feels bad because she feels like she's putting him in harm's way in some way, and she reaches out and brushes his face and closes her eyes. "I'll be with you soon." And she goes to take a bite of the root, but instead sits for a second and tries to just tunnel herself into whatever dream he's having.
I'll explain what happens in the dream. But first, the other two of you see Nortia kind of holding that space. And Nortia, your eyes are still open, but the others see reflections of water, and you are standing and not quite asleep, but you are entering that space. And before I illustrate what that is, Lady M and Dianthus, how are you responding, or I guess holding yourselves while this happens?
Emma's just gonna sit between the two of them because, like, I'm just monitoring them, I guess, for lack of a better term, to make sure that they both are. I just gave them drugs essentially, so I just want to make sure that they're good.
Little trip sitting, okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna kind of be sitting in the middle of them, very kind of intentionally. Em can only focus on one thing at a time right now, so.
I'm
Okay.
gonna wait until I know that Nortia's like asleep. Then I'm gonna walk up, basically in front of you, Em. We have to talk. We have a shadow. Someone is watching us.
Em immediately thinks of what she saw in the singing pool.
This is an interesting moment. Not it, the players, both of you.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about the wizard.
And I'm talking about my sister, my family.
Oh!
I will say, your characters do not know that they are different. But continue.
Have you seen them?
Briefly. It wasn't fun.
What did you see?
It was dark. And it felt like the memory, magic, whatever it was an attempt to separate all of us. Make us forget each other, get us all alone, and then I don't know what. I don't know what you went through, or what you saw or dealt with, but I know what I went through. And I never want to
What
go
did
through
you
it again.
dream? What did you dream, Dianthus?
I don't dream. I remembered.
This is a conversation. So I'm going to ask what you remembered.
I've known Lady Dinah a lot longer than I thought. And she's held a grudge a lot longer than I thought. She was the one who found me. She is the one who healed me. And she's the one who left me behind first.
If she left you, why is she holding a grudge?
I killed a lot of people. I hurt a lot of people. Her people. And I didn't remember until today.
Do you think the same person who messed with our memory of each other messed with your memory of that?
I don't know. I don't know if that had been the goal, or if it was just an unfortunate side effect. I know they wanted me to forget you all, and it almost worked.
I feel like we have more than one enemy right now. But I feel like only one is pressing us.
You think we're speaking of different people?
I think you are well aware we all have monsters in our closet. But I think only one is pursuing us.
The question is why?
Why?
And who's gonna get hurt in the process of getting to us?
When did you last see them?
Right before I remembered everyone. Maybe hour, less than.
So they're near.
Let's hope not. It was up here.
How do we fight that?
I don't know. I've never been scared before. I think I'm starting to get scared.
No, none of that. I've known you a long time, Dianthus.
You don't get scared. We are two people who do not get scared.
Then what do we do?
Fix it. You and I are the ones who... we hurt people. So that's what we do.
Yeah, I can do that.
We just have to find them.
Ooh,
One thing at a time.
what a line. What a line.
What a fucking banger, dude.
Lady M and Dianthus, as this interaction goes on,
Yeah.
I'm going to say this isn't going to take a lot of like in-character moments, but Atlas and Sue and Cal are three people that are, you know, in the space, but not really doing anything. So as Nortia is dealing with Yarrow, they kind of make themselves absent, you know, kind of going off, you know, you get like gentle moments of like, I'll see you later. Atlas leaves, you know, a note basically saying like, Nortia knows where to find me, that sort of deal, and they leave. And as that happens, Nortia and Yarrow, we come up to a scene in that same underwater amphitheater. And Yarrow, you realize that you are asleep, but you're having, for some reason, a kind of out-of-body experience as you look down at your body, and for a second you think, okay, maybe I'm dead. Like, maybe, you know, something, you know, maybe there's something going on, and like my soul's trapped in this space. But even in this out of body, you can feel the breath in your chest. It's very strained because you are underwater, but it's kind of like being in a very humid, you know, quite literally high humidity room where you can feel your breath and it is okay and it's there. But as you kind of look over, you see the form in a very light green kind of mist that no one else seems to kind of see of Gunnar standing next to you. However, you notice that Gunnar's demeanor is different than you remember, because it is actually Nortia. So Nortia, your perspective is you are standing next to Yarrow in this underwater amphitheater, and you get the feeling that it's kind of like a courthouse, almost like there's a trial going on. And you look down and you see the hands of Gunnar, and you feel you feel quite a bit taller than you normally do, and you realize that you are kind of piloting his dreaming self. You feel a little bit in the back of your mind like his voice being like, "This is a little strange, but I will trust you, I guess. Don't kill us."
Thank you for sharing the space with me, Gunnar. And piloting Gunner's body. Love to hear it. Big Beefy Boy wants to break those coral cuffs.
Okay. I will say, Nortia, you realize that as you move, you and Yarrow see each other, but the two of you are operating in a dream-like parallel space to what is happening. So you can't materially affect Yarrow's body. But the two of you do see each other.
I think Yara's just probably staring, blinking, trying to like piece together what they're seeing.
Hello.
Does it sound like Nortia's voice?
Yes.
Like, or is it not
Yes,
like
no,
Gunnar?
it's Gunnar's face, but with Nortia's voice.
Hi, Gunnar? Nortia?
For both you.
Both. I think I'm in Akatoa.
Okay. Yarrow, I don't know how much time we have here. I don't know if I'm now stuck here with you for a while, but I just wanted you to know that you aren't alone and that we're coming.
Thank you. It's good to know. I was afraid no one was gonna know I was down here.
Yarrow, what happened?
Oh, his face just falls. I, there, there was, this wizard, and I was seeing things, and I stabbed someone in the church. And I didn't mean to. I didn't,
I know you didn't mean to, Yarrow.
and I just got tripped and I fell down in the water, and I'm here.
Okay. Yarrow, I don't know how to say this. I think that everyone saw that wizard, that we might have forgotten each other for a while.
Do you all remember me?
We all remember.
Okay. I remember all of you too, so.
Nortia kind of like looks at the space. Does it seem like evaluating where Yarrow is right now, like there are any ways to get in and out of this room discreetly?
Nortia, in looking around this space, you realize that it's open. Like, you look up and you can see probably a good 200-300 feet above you. The surf is up there. Because it's not a room, it's an amphitheater. But you do look around, and in real life versions of ourselves realize that for however much or little you dream, whenever you are asleep, time passes by differently, right? As Nortia, you are discussing with Yarrow, and Yarrow, you feel like the mechanical effects of this, where the sand that makes up the rune that you're standing on kind of shifts. And although you are asleep, you're kind of put into this upright, not quite execution stance, but you are, you're sitting on your knees with your head kind of bowed in front of you, and your hands, the coral kind of breaks into two pieces, and your arms are spread, and you're kind of still asleep, but you see yourself in real time, but also sped up. You see that there is a group of three, a man, a mermaid man, merman with a
barnacle boy. Sorry.
barnacle boy. Words, we sometimes they don't come out the way that you meant to. A merman, you get the sense that he's kind of like royalty, but not that he's the one and only in charge. There's a mermaid woman to his right and a Triton man to his left, and the three of them take up a three-seated throne, and they are all talking, and you see a very expedited court session, right? Because like you and Yarrow are talking to what feels to you to be in real time, but this happened to Yarrow like last night. Like everything that's happening, like you are in their dream and experiencing this at a slower rate than the actual court proceedings happen. So Nortia, as you look around, you see arguing and different amphibious people enter the space, and it fills up and it empties out and it fills up again, and people are yelling and raising spears, and you get the idea. And Nortia, we talked a little bit yesterday about how Sabrina, we talked a little bit yesterday about how your background allows you to kind of deduce and pick up on things as far as like language of and I forget the specific portion of your background that breaks this down. But after the first, to you it feels like a couple minutes, but you realize that it's actually about like 2 or 3 hours or so of these proceedings, you start to understand in a very broken common, um, but you start to understand the language and the tone of what's happening in this space. Over the course of a few minutes, I'll say you are able to relay this to Yarrow. Yarrow is on trial for trespassing and bringing aggression to this space. However, the merman is talking to the Triton and the mermaid, and you get the idea that the kind of judicial process, right? These three are the ones who make the final decision. And you hear, and again, it's similar to dreams, right? How if you focus on something and then you get distracted and you focus again, like time has passed or the scene kind of shifts. They argued for hours about whether or not to kill Yarrow or to keep him there. You can't say anything or interfere with this space, but you do see at the end of it a very coral and barnacle laden mage kind of swim into the space. You could tell he's almost half merman, half Triton, right? So he looks like a merman, but with less human features. You can also tell that he is performing some sort of ritual in this space. And he takes out a piece of, it's like this little jellyfish. But as he kind of pulls the tendrils and kind of wraps them around the horns on Yarrow's head, he, for a brief moment, turns to you, Nortia. And you realize that for a second he saw you.
Have I been able to deduce in their language the words "I can help" or that, or with all the stuff that has been going on?
I'll say, yeah. Not elegantly, but yeah, I would say so.
Nortia looks at Yarrow and says, "Tell them that you can help. Tell them," and then in that language, she says it to Yarrow, hoping that if Yarrow is able to wake up in this moment, that they can try to plead to them that they can help them.
As this Kraken priest kind of ties around, you relay this message, Nortia, and he looks to you, and you see for a moment the visual of Gunnar kind of vanish, and it's Nortia standing in that space, and he takes this piece of, like, you see a green fire erupt in his hand, and this piece of parchment appears. And it's, if you've ever seen paper underwater, it's very flimsy and very, whatever. But as he hands it to you, you just hear like a hiss and like a, "We shall see how much y'all are willing to help. I'll see if I can convince them." And Nortia, you are brought back to the garden. And Yarrow, you wake up having heard what Nortia told you, and you realize that some time has passed. You are kind of buried in sand on the floor of this amphitheater. The only things that are above sand are your head and your two hands. The jellyfish that is around your horns is glowing, and in either hand you hold a torch, one that is deep green and bright, and the other one that is a red maroon, and it gives you the sense of, and I'll say as a tiefling, you get the idea that it's a quite literal manifestation of, are they going to let you live or are they going to kill you?
As soon as he wakes up, he's probably just going to, like, what Nortia said, that I can help in their language, and just start, like, yelling it. Just like, it's like, I can help, I can help, I can help.
Interesting. Let me try something. Let me look at something real quick.
Oh,
Interesting.
I'm gonna get you out. I'm gonna get you out of there.
Yarrow, as you kind of wake up and you get the sense that y'all had seen you ever see a video and it's like a 8-hour time lapse? Like that is what had happened up to this moment. Some moments were slower than others, but in this moment the amphitheater is full. And you wake up and you repeat the phrase over and over, but at first it is in their native tongue, but it starts, if you've ever said a phrase over and over again and it starts to kind of lose its meaning, that's kind of what happens. And after the first couple times you say it, Yarrow, without even realizing it, you are actually chanting it in Infernal.
Oh no. Oh.
And the red flame gets bigger.
Oh, stop it! Shut up!
Oh,
Stop
no.
talking! Stop talking!
Give me a persuasion check.
Shut up!
Oh,
Stop talking! Stop talking!
Shit, what's my persuasion? I don't think I have. No, I do have good persuasion. That's okay, that's okay.
Did I just
That's
kill
4.
you? I'm so sorry.
That's a 15.
What was that?
15.
15. Okay. Okay.
Oh.
Very good. Okay. Yarrow, there's, you're chanting this, and the people that are in audience start to kind of disperse as men with spears kind of clear out the space. And the sand shifts, and you are kind of elevated at a 45-degree angle, but sitting directly in front of the throne of the 3 figures. What you can gather is the lord or king or whatever his title is. He pulls his trident. It's a deep gold and emerald green, wrapped in marks, burn marks, probably not blood, but like just very distinct war-torn trident. And as he lifts it and puts it towards your chest, right before the prongs of the trident would touch, he flips it and digs it into the sand, and the red kind of goes down and down and down. And he says, "Speak your intention."
My intention?
To get the fuck out.
You realize he is speaking in Infernal as well.
Oh. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, Yarrow, immediately registering that, looks to him and is just like, I just want to go home. I didn't try. I accidentally came down here. It was not on purpose. I will leave and not come back, or I can help you, or we can come up with some sort of agreement. It's just that this is a whole misunderstanding.
Yarrow, as you speak, it gets faster and faster, and it's caught underwater, and there's moments where the words are kind of, you feel like, because again, everything feels like you are quite literally underwater, because you are. Like, the sound is very muffled, but you get the sense that the man in front of you catches everything, and he pulls the trident out, and his words change from Infernal back to his native tongue. And he says something to the man on his right, to the woman on his left, takes the ends of the trident and cuts the jellyfish from your horns. As the green flame grows higher and higher, "We have extended our offer to your warrior friend. If you find yourself back here, the real trial will commence." And you feel bubbles kind of surround you, and the green fire catch on your hand, and you get the feeling that if you weren't a tiefling, if you didn't have an infernal background, the burning, the flame that would shoot through your arm and encapsulate your body would probably hurt. But we come back to the garden, and Lady M and Dianthus, once your exchange is done, it takes probably about everything that happens right here is about 5-10 minutes. Your time.
God.
To Nortia and Yarrow, it took longer. But erupting from Nortia's eyes, the water of the space that Yarrow was taking up explodes, and it takes up the space, and it swirls, and you see Yarrow fall about 5 feet, just boom, onto the floor of the garden, with the sand and the burning, and everything is completely drenched. Gunnar is spitting up water. Nortia, you are remarkably unfazed by it, and Yarrow, you are gripping that single piece of parchment that Nortia was given. And the 4 of you, well, 5 of you, including Gunnar, are completely soaked in the garden.
I got him back.
I'm immediately
Yay!
checking over Yarrow,
Yeah,
like
me
medicine
too.
check. Yeah.
Coughing up water.
Go for it.
Do you want help with the medicine check?
Yeah. Well, you might be better, so maybe it would be better if I helped you. I only have
Okay.
+3.
I don't know what I have.
So I'll just help you.
I should have a lot, right?
You have more than I do, I'm sure.
+5.
cleric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, so I'm a cleric. I should have.
Nortia sees that Yarrow's being tended to and takes out her notebook and starts jotting down everything that just happened, like all the surroundings she saw, anything that she can remember.
I will say,
Drawing.
Nortia, as you're jotting all that down, I'll say that while they are tending to Yarrow, you kind of take the page and you look at it, and you had seen it, right, when the priest had handed it to you. It didn't have any markings on it necessarily, but as you kind of put it to your book, the left side of the page kind of splits, and you see, kind of similar to octopus tentacles, as the pages, the ends of the page kind of weave themselves and bind themselves to the inside of your book, as this page takes up a space at the back of your book.
What on earth?
That's so
Wait,
cool.
what
It's
happened?
common.
Okay, does the page that it took up, does it have any writing, or is it just like...
Give me either an arcana or an investigation.
What are you better at?
Let me look. I mean, my passive investigation is insane, so I
It's
feel
very
like
high.
my regular investigation would also be insane, but I don't remember if I'm being so... Okay, it's pretty good.
Yeah?
It's investigation or arcana.
Mhm.
Oh, they're both the same.
So it
So I get
is
different...
different based off of what you choose.
I got a coin here. Do you want me to flip a coin?
My dice just flew across my room, so maybe that was telling me do not use me. And that's my investigation dice, so I'll use my arcana. Okay, 14 plus 5 is 19.
19. Okay. And it was for arcana?
Arcana, yeah, let me just look for my... I'm listening.
Okay.
Where'd you go? Hi, little guy.
While Nortia is doing that, we'll revisit that in a second. Lady M and Dianthus.
Yeah,
Who was doing what with the medicine?
I'm rolling, and Lady
Alright.
M's gonna help.
Okay.
I believe that's it. So I rolled a 10 plus
Mhm,
5 is
mhm.
15.
Okay. Dianthus, you mentioned earlier how you don't really dream, you like remember.
Yeah.
And part of what makes that kind of strange in the waking world is the closest thing that you experience to dream, at least lately, is moments where a friend of yours with ivory skin kind of appears, and Yarrow is there, and like very out of it, right? Like they are conscious, but you know, they were underwater for a very long time.
Yeah.
And the man with ivory skin, long black hair, sits with a stone that is kind of like shaped into a coin that he flicks between his fingers. It starts at one pinky and he twirls it all the way across, throws it across with his thumb, and he does that for a second. And it feels like time stands still, because it does. Everyone's stopped, and in Dianthus, it's just you standing over your friend. And the man flicks, and he's like, "Is it his time?"
No.
He stands and is like inches from your face, but a little bit taller than you.
Mhm.
Fine. And you come back, and Yarrow, you, in a very much like a last kind of gasp, but like expulsing like the rest of the water, like the copter.
Yeah.
There's a little fish that kind of just like flicks and kind of like flops its way into the pond.
Nice.
But Yarrow, you are back. And yeah, so Dianthus, Lady M, you see Yarrow is there. At this point, it's about lunch-ish time, like midday type deal. But you are able to stabilize them and kind of get them back. Nortia, you're 19.
Me?
Yeah.
The script on the top of the page takes up about like 2 centimeters, maybe an inch. And you can't quite gather it because it's a combination of goblin and infernal runes. You gather that it's a list of mission. Is kind of the rough takeaway that you get from it.
I can tell it's an infernal though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's hard to break down, like, because I don't know. Do you know infernal?
I don't know infernal,
You don't know
but
infernal.
I now know that my bestie Yarrow knows infernal.
I will say, like, your understanding of this material is it's obviously magic.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bullet list of things, and as you look at it, the more that you think about what's happened to y'all in the past week, certain lines come up and they glow and are crossed out. And then certain lines pop up and they stay. And I will say, on a 19 Arcana, you get the idea that this has some sort of tie connection to whatever's going on, but you don't get a threatening aura from it. In fact, you feel certain things kind of come to your person as you think back on small moments that you've had over the last week. The figurine that I had mentioned to you, the little dog. You see a visual at the bottom. There's like the bottom third of the page has what would normally be like a visual, like a doodle space. But things start to pop up, and as you acknowledge that they're there, it disappears, and you have that thing on your inventory.
Hour.
Yummy.
Yummy.
And I will break down exactly what that is out of session later. But essentially, it gives you like things to accomplish, quests, goals, that sort of thing. And once you accomplish said things, you gain certain rewards.
Oh.
Yummy.
That's so
Yummy.
sick.
So we've already completed some of the little
Yes.
missions then.
Mhm.
Okay.
And at this point, I would like each of you to roll just a flat d20 for me.
Oh,
Death
fuck.
saving throw.
Oh,
No.
Got it.
what
got
if
it,
I
yeah.
just said no thanks?
What if I kind of don't feel like it?
A 10.
A 2.
Guys, no.
Okay, so all right, so let me go down the list real quick. So we have a 3. We have a 3, right?
Yeah.
Nortia, we had a what?
A 10.
A 10.
I got the highest.
Did you really? Yarrow, what did you get?
An 8.
An 8. Okay, Dianthus, what did you get? I do want to say I did not tell them to do this beforehand. Before I say what just happened,
Oh god.
all of you
Oh.
take that number,
Yeah.
add a 0,
Yeah.
and that amount of gold is added to your inventory.
Oh, thank God! It's not
Oh,
bad.
okay.
So
Right.
Dude, I was so scared.
Oh,
I thought we were dead.
Can
so
you add a
I
zero?
thought it
Yeah.
was over, dude.
I
I
Mhm.
get 200 or 10. Wait,
Oh my
100
gold.
gold. Yeah.
I'm bad at math
I
or
have
adding
20 gold
zeros.
pieces in my pocket. Hell yeah, dude.
There you
Oh,
go.
so I get 80.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, brag.
Wow,
We
that made
all
me
were like,
nervous.
we're about to
We're like, we're
die.
dead. We're gonna
Okay,
die.
This
We're
is
dead.
over.
The
It's
end.
over.
How
As
does
the
it feel to
Okay,
be
okay.
dead?
As the DM, it's so funny because I'm just watching y'all freak out. I'm like, if y'all are
Really?
finished, I'll let you know.
Oh
Oh
no.
my god.
Man, what a time it would have
Our
been to
life
roll a nat
flashed
20.
before our heart. Oh,
That would
my
have
God,
been.
my little heart.
I did have something for if you rolled that 20, but you didn't, so that's okay.
Ooh.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Anyways,
It's okay. We had to get those bad rolls out of the way in case you try to hurt us
Yeah.
later.
Yeah,
That's true.
thank God,
That's true.
guys.
This is great.
Name.
there you
Put
go.
those dice on us, fuck God.
Oh God.
What a time.
What a time, dude.
My adrenaline through the roof.
Through the
I know,
roof.
you just like instilled
Yeah.
fear in us.
Yeah, literally.
I talked to Yarrow just very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah?
go for it.
I'm
Hi,
not
Yarrow.
dead.
You're
Seeing
not
that you
dead,
want a
you're well.
moment, I'm gonna go check on Nortia.
Cool.
So you guys can have it.
Yeah, just had water spout.
Right.
Before I help you like up onto your feet, I'm gonna kneel in front of you. This is post checking you over. I'm gonna grab you by your fucking chin, you weird little purple man.
Hello.
I am keeping you away from every body of water on this island.
Yeah, I'll let you do that.
What happened?
So, a lot. I had these shears, and then there was the wizard, and then I don't remember exactly. I stabbed someone, and now they're gone, and then I was in the water.
Wait, stop. You stabbed someone.
Not on purpose.
Then why?
Did I get Phineas's name, or is that just the
I would say you knew their name. Yeah.
Okay. The wizard. I was seeing things when then Phineas came up, and I was seeing stuff like when we saw the room with the fighting and the cage and Hemlock, and they took you away, and then they made you dust, and then I was
What?
stabbing Phineas, and then he was
What?
dust.
Yarrow. Clapping my hand over your mouth since you're gonna keep rambling.
Just keep going, Misty.
What are you talking about? And when I remove my hand, just answer the question. What do you mean I turned to dust?
This guy, with ivory skin touched your face, and then you just were gone. I don't know if it's real or not.
Let me
Right?
interject real quick.
Is that right?
Let me interject real quick. You did see
Was that right?
you did see a vision of Dianthus turning to dust. Give me
Yeah,
this
if
is
I'm
this
remembering
is
correctly.
what a memory check be in this moment? Like
I could roll a flat d20.
Yeah.
Intelligence?
give me a wisdom. Yeah, give
Wisdom
me
check or save?
we'll say it's a save.
A save. Okay. That's not bad. Do I have a plus? I have a plus 1. I mean, that's a 15.
15.
Yeah.
Okay. So Yarrow, in player, some of this is stuff
Yeah.
that we are like shifting a little bit. But Yarrow, in our last session, we did go over. You did see it happen. However, the shifting or like the visual of Dianthus turning to dust happened in a vision that you had gathered was a premonition, like something in the future.
Oh, that was that. So I can tell that's
That
not
hadn't
like a
happened yet.
memory. It's something that
Yeah.
hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Was it still seeing that guy touching them though? And
So the
Or is
touching
it-
of the moment that
That was
the
confusing.
ivory man touched Dianthus' face is not what caused them to turn into dust. What caused them to turn into
Oh.
dust was Dinah stepping forward and stabbing him with the shears that
Thank you. So let me correct
not
that then. Okay.
all of y'all would know about. But yes,
Okay, so sorry, correction.
yes.
Correct.
I got a little confused.
You're good. You're good.
There was Dinah, and you got stabbed in dust, and you were gone. I don't go near any sharp objects or Lady Dinah, please.
I wasn't planning on it. Are you alright?
Now I am.
Good.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I am now.
Okay. No more water. I'm done with swimming.
Yeah. It's a good call.
I can't go back to the church though. Or I don't know if they're looking for me, but I did.
We'll figure that out. But if what you're telling me is true, I would be less worried about them finding me and more about retaliation against the one person they do still have access to.
We have to get them out of there.
Yeah, we do. And scene. We'll deal with that.
We will
With the
deal with
rest
that.
of y'all.
Before we go to Lady M and Nortia, Yarrow, can you add Fear of Water to your character sheet?
Yeah,
Oh my god, dude!
absolutely. New fear.
There you go.
Thank you.
Consequences!
Lady M and Nortia.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Hey, baby. Okay, so first things first, I know you're like writing in your book and like you're like, you know, doing your whole thing, but I am going to kind of like sit in front of you and I'm going to go to like reach for your face, like check over your eyes, which literally spat out water 5 seconds ago. But then kind of like pull my hands back because I don't.
When you go to reach for her face, Nortia looks up from the notebook. I don't think we got the chance to say hello.
I
Again.
think we did. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Nortia looks and sees that Dianthus and Yarrow and Gunnar and you are here. She smiles and she says, I'm doing great.
That's so great. I saw you shoot water out of your like, projectile. I'm just a little worried. Can you see okay?
How
Can
many
I
fingers
see
am I
okay?
holding up?
Yeah,
3?
Nortia, you are awake and fine. And I will say, Nortia, you didn't feel like it wasn't like it came from your eyeballs, like physically. Like you don't feel dehydrated or anything. It was just a magic effect. But there you go.
Do
Yeah,
I know
is
that
fair.
that really happened?
I would say it probably took you a couple moments to realize, because like you came to and everyone was drenched, right? Like the entire garden was kind of like flooded, and it at this point it has absorbed the water and like everything's starting to dry out, but like you did get, you know, it was very anime, right? Like the like
Projectile tears.
projectile tears.
Something ocean eyes, yeah.
There you go. Ocean eyes, yes.
What can I say? I'm a crier.
Do you remember me?
I remember everything now. I didn't before, but I will tell you, Lady M, that when I remembered nothing else, I remembered you.
Oh!
Nortia, I feel like I've been short with you lately, and you've done nothing but try and help everyone. Want to apologize, but I just want to acknowledge that behavior of mine, and
Lady M,
Hmm.
I appreciate your acknowledgement. You say that I help everyone, but every time I see you, you do more than help. You give yourself to everybody you can. And so if sometimes the weight of the world is too much to bear, I'm okay with taking a little bit of the brunt.
Oh,
did you see the wizard? Yeah.
Did I see the wizard? I took care of him for now.
What does that mean?
I don't think he's watching us. At least he has. I don't think he's watching me. Or gonna. Lady M, I used to be so scared of what would happen in my dreams. And with what happened with Donna, you are extraordinarily powerful. How do you not get scared of all of that power?
oh,
I am old. Nortia. I have been very powerful very long. And I don't know the things I have done with my magic. I don't think I'm the best person to ask.
Maybe not. You're the person that I have.
You can't be afraid of it. It's yours. No one else's.
Nortia leans in to Lady M. I saved Yarrow.
You saved Yarrow. You saved Yarrow.
That is my power.
Mhm.
And she hugs Lady M.
Emma's gonna go stiff for just a second and then lean into it. This is probably the first time she's been hugged in a very long
oh.
As that moment, that hug happens, we are going to take a break. That was a big emotion, and that was a lot.
That was so good.
Welcome back to the Strangers Guild, y'all. Good stuff.